that says women...
What is a woman?
Hello my viewer, thank you very much for joining me. This is TCL Media. My name is Daniel Lovey, and yes, of course, a very big thank you to you whom you have been subscribing, following, and also commenting onto this YouTube channel. And please, if you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. Yes, of course, as always, I promise to give you quality, good and most credible content. And guess what, today I've got just an amazing lady. I'm sure you're just going to love this conversation because this one is so deep. And today I want us to talk about the culture of women. I want us to talk anything just related to women, because outside here it has come to my attention that women, they have, on one side, can I call it a bad picture, on the other side, can I call it a good picture? And now we are at crossroads trying to figure out how can we be able to relate these things and how can we come out clear, and let's try to figure out how do women portray themselves in terms of character, behavior, nature. So without so much ado, allow me to introduce my visitor. Welcome very much. Amuna Samanga.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes.
All right. So how are you?
I'm doing good.
You're doing great?
Yes.
Can you tell us who you are?
So my name is Rhoda.
Yes, Rhoda.
Rhoda Abuya. Occupation, I'm still a student, not yet working. Of course, I'm feminine, I'm a lady.
That's why I knew it.
That's for the gender.
I know. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard you say we are going to talk about women.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, so it has come just to my attention that when we talk about women, because you especially, you know, I'm a man and I can never know 100%. But now today we are here to figure out, when we say that what a man can do, a woman can do better. Now the extent of doing better, that's what I want to understand. So Rhoda, you say that you're a student.
Yes.
Okay, what do you do?
A student, a fourth year student. I'm currently studying communication studies, a mixed blend of journalism and English literature. Yeah.
Which university or which institution? Because
institution.
now I've been waiting for you to give me, or rather tell us.
You know, I have been trained to answer only what you've been asked.
Okay, well, in matters description, I've heard that when you are asked, tell us who you are. Now you'll begin from.
You know, you've asked, what do you do?
Okay.
I've left it as
so
that.
you just left it as that. Anyway,
I
give
am a
us.
student at Chuka University.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah.
Now let's get to it. Talk about, who can you describe, or rather, how can you describe who is a lady or rather a woman?
A lady. A lady and a woman, I'd say, lacks description, because femininity is something so sacred. I mean, something that you can't be able to understand. I mean, how do you understand someone conceiving and then giving life to someone looking exactly like her or like the father? I mean, the whole women and feminine thing.
Now let's just begin from scratch, because right now we are just grabbing the bull by its own. The society right now, people came up, they say that some of them, they're chauvinist. This gender, you are people whom you are undescribable.
This gender.
Yeah, no, I'm using that term. And when I'm referring to this gender, my view, I'm talking about now the women. There are people who are complicated. Of course, I'm not giving a verdict, but I'm giving out views on how people. And if you also, you are there and you also want to use, or rather you want just to say anything, or you have heard something concerning this gender, the female gender, please don't forget to comment down below, because we are executing everything today. So you are complicated. Whenever, okay, during your childhood and how you are brought up and what a stuff, you have, like right now you are in campus, I believe there are relationships and everything. But now men are complaining. First of all, even before we get to that, why do you think that there are complaints everywhere about women?
There are complaints everywhere about women. because there are two versions of women. We have the modern day woman and we have the traditional woman. Time has flown by, things have evolved, you know. The fashion trends that were there during our mother's time in the 1960s is not the fashion trend that we have now in the 21st century.
Why?
And if I try to listen to you keenly, the complaints majorly could be on the fashion trends of the modern day woman. The modern day woman now has artificial eyelashes. The modern day woman now has artificial eyebrows. The modern day woman now has artificial nails. The modern day woman no longer considers the traditional lesos and ankaras as the in-thing mode of dressing, but rather the modern day woman prefers Kardashian dressing code, Nicki Minaj dressing code, and what have you. So the thing is, the modern day woman has become more westernized, I say, something which has deviated from the traditional woman who majorly used to stick to the African rules and tradition. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think, okay, what you have just explained, I believe that even my viewer has understood it clearly, that there are two versions of ladies or other women. We have the ones talk about the 20th century and we have now the 21st century. Now, I feel when I talk about there is a complaint, there is a line that has been crossed somewhere. I don't know, it's that the 21st century women, there was a taboo and a culture that was instilled in men that they could understand women in a certain angle, you know, that we are grown up, we all grew up, and then your father told you that this is how you're supposed to take care of a lady. Because now we saw that culture in our moms and we valued it and it was so nice.
You've talked about taboo.
Yeah.
That's the exact point, and I love the way you've put it. The things that were formerly considered a taboo during those days for the traditional woman are no longer being considered as a taboo in this society. Sorry to say, but welcome to this society where a child would walk with a miniskirt in front of the father and the father would have nothing to say. The father would have no complaint about it, or the mother will have no complaint about it.
But it is embarrassing.
But it is embarrassing, you see. That is how the society has evolved. We have made things that seemed abnormal back then seem so normal during this time. And I wouldn't say it's our fault. It's our society. And so our society comprises of the people that we have, the parents that we have, those who are nurturing us.
So you think that some of our parents have contributed to the nature and the character of the modernized ladies?
In one way or the other, yes.
Okay.
Because they are the ones who have left us become exposed to this. They haven't cautioned us. They haven't stopped us. But rather they've made it seem okay. So as we are okay with it, you see.
Now, on the point of growth, I heard you talk about something to do with Western culture that has come to Africa because, you know, we are Africans. You are an African. There are some things that, of course, I knew. I know that you were brought up very well, of which you are going to tell us because I don't know. Is it that what makes you unique, different from other ladies? You can say there are some things that personally I cannot do, but I can see it being done. All in the name of we are in the 21st century. What makes you unique?
Personally, I have to attribute it to my mother. I have a very staunch traditional mom, you see. And where we young girls deviate most, I'd say, is when we are introduced to a totally new environment. Let me give my own story, if that's okay with you.
Please share.
So growing up, my mom taught me to dress well, you know, cover yourself well. Even when I'd wear something and I walk in the house and, you know, dads don't talk, but moms will sense.
Of course.
You know, my mom would call me kando na niambie, hey, msichana wangu ingo yako elewa pana, ende ubadilishe uvae kitu ingine, you know, and I would do that, you see.
Absolutely.
Now I'm done with primary school, I'm done with secondary school, I'm entering into a totally new world, the university. This is where you get all kinds of people, different cultures, different dressing mode, different walking styles, you see. I'm introduced to something totally new, a system totally new.
True.
Now, as I joined as a first year student, I used to see trends or dress codes that were so normal. So hata mimi nikasema, okay, hapa watu wako sawa wakivaa hivi. Let me also go and purchase myself some, ndo nikwe ninavaa, you see. The holidays came, 3 months or 4 months, and then the holidays came, and I went back home with the same dressing codes that seemed so normal in Chuka University. I went with them back home. At one point, I had forgotten that my mom taught me to dress in this particular way. My mom taught me that these things, sifai kutembea nazo hivi nje, you see. But now I've gone. For 4 months, I've stayed out, lived in an environment where these things that my mom used to deter me from wearing seemed so normal. You see, junior university, no one bothers to tell you you're not supposed to wear like these, blah, 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 you're free, you see. But now I go back home, and my mom is like, okay,
There is something that has changed. There is something going wrong.
There is something that has changed, you see.
Yeah.
And my mom is not the one who would keep quiet.
All right.
Pia sio yule wa kupiga kelele sana. Approach. By the way, for parents, approach is very important.